All right, it's recording. All right, for this one, reminder, since this is on the outside and this is inscribed or on the inside, remember the outdoors is bigger than the indoors, so this is going to be double that. So in this case, if this is 100, this is going to be half, this is going to be 50. And the reverse is true. This is inscribed inside the circle, so this is the outdoors. So if this is 117, outdoors is doubled because I'm going outdoors. 234. All right, this one. This is a generic rule. If you have a quadrilateral, what we call inscribed, so like circled, like surrounded in a circle like this, then the diagonals are always supplementary, aka adds up to 180. The diagonals are always supplementary. So 68 plus x equals 180. Subtract 68 on both sides. X equals 108. No. 112, my bad. That's 112. And then these are supplementary. So 108, 180 minus 104. This should be 76.
Wait, what was
76. All right, next one. So this one is like connect the dots here a little bit. So if this one's 80, which is inside, if I go to the outside, this will be double 160. But if I go back inside, cut 160 in half, this is 80 again. So this angle here that shares the same opening should be 80. And the generic rule is, if they share the same opening, they must be equal to each other, no matter how it looks. For this one, there's a rule when you have the angle outside of the circle. You do what we call the outsider is usually the bigger. Big number minus the small number divided by 2. So it's going to be 130 minus 60 divided by 2. This is going to be 70 divided by 2, or 35. So that happens when the angle's outside of the circle. So the angle's outside of the circle. Same thing here. The angle's outside of the circle. So 230 minus 130 divided by 2. So 100 divided by 2. This one is 50. For this one, when you have two circles or two chords crisscrossing each other, you multiply the two pieces together. So in this case, it's 3 times x, and that's going to equal this multiplication, 9 times 5. So 3x equals 45, divided by 3 on both sides. X equals 15. So the answer is 15 in the case. This one I think I removed on the official test, but this will have a show up on the final. This is an easy one. Because the angle's on the inside this time, not in the center, if you notice, in the inside, you add them. So if it's outside, you subtract. In the inside, you add. So 105 plus 115 divided by 2. So this one, you could think of it as the average of the two. So 220 divided by 2, 110. It will also technically always be the number in between the two numbers. So the number between 115 and 105 is 110. But that's just a rule for any average. That's true for any two-number average. Here, for these rules, remember, it's outside times the whole thing. Outside times the whole thing. So in this case, it's going to be 4, which is the outside, times the whole thing, which is 12. That's going to equal 3 times the whole thing. Notice here I made the whole thing x. Okay. So this is going to be 48 equals 3x. X equals 16. This one, outside 4 times the whole thing, 4 plus 12 is 16, equals the outside, which is x, times the whole thing. In this case, the outside is the whole thing, so it's also x. So 4 times 16 is 64 equals x squared. Square root both sides. X equals 8. Technically it's plus or minus 8, but you can't have a negative length in this case, so it's just 8.
Oh, on the final, you're gonna put the surface area and the volume area.
So this
It's
is
not on the sheet.
let me
volume is different.
let me show you what my here's the thing I'm going to print down for your final. Is what do you ask for? Surface area?
Surface area, so like 4 pi r squared.
You're right. That's not here. Let me put that here. Surface area equals 4 pi r squared. I'll make it neater, but it'll be connected to that. And then what else?
4 pi r cubed is already on there.
Yeah, that's the volume right here.
When should I swing back to the
This recording will probably finish in like less than 10 minutes. So if you want to swing by that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this was your plan.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Find the circumference. So you're going to have a formula sheet. Don't bring anything. You have a formula sheet. I'm giving it to you. Find a circumference with a circle with a diameter of 22. So I have a circle with a diameter of 22. Remember, the circumference is 2 pi r, or you could do d pi. If you think it's 2 pi r, then just remember the radius is only half of the diameter. So the radius in this case is 11. So 2 times pi times 11. Now on your multiple choice, it's just going to look like 22 pi. You do not need to type in the 3.14. Okay? It'll just be 22 pi. So it's a little easier in that case. All right? And then if you just did d pi, the diameter, which is 22 times pi. See how these are the same answers. Next one. Find the radius of the circle if the circumference is 152. So it's 152 is my answer in this case, 2 pi r. In this case, I will have to actually do pi. So it's going to be 2 times 3.14 r, 6.28 r equals 152. Divided by it on both sides. 152 divided by 6.28. 24.
152 divided by 6.2.
The 60.
Yeah, 24.2.
Okay, I'll trust you. 24.2. So I just typed that in your calculator. No. Next one. Find the area of the circle with a radius of 12. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So it's pi times 12 squared, or 144 pi. Find the area of the circle when find the radius of the circle when the area is 314. 314 equals pi r squared. Oh, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. So divided by pi on both sides, that's going to be 100 equals r squared. You have a question? Wait. Yeah. Let me finish this now because I'm recording this. So then square root both sides. R equals technically plus or minus 10, but because we're talking about physical length, it will just be positive 10. I'm out. Next one. Use the diagram over here. Find the arc length. When I ask for arc length, that's talking about this part here. So I'm using the circumference to my advantage, okay? So it's always a ratio. So 80 over 360, which is the part of the angle versus the whole angle of a circle, times the arc length, which I don't know what it is yet, but I do know what the circumference is, or I could find what the circumference is, which is 2 times pi times r. In this case, is 10. All right. So 20 pi, let me rewrite this. So 80 over 360 equals the arc length over 20 pi, which is going to be 62.8. Then I'm going to solve this by multiplying 62.8 to the other side. So 62.8 times 80 divided by 360. 13.96. The sector area is exactly the same thing. The only difference is 80 over 360 is still the same. Sector, so I put SEC. But in this case, I'm doing the area of the circle. So the area of the circle is pi r squared, or pi 10 squared, which means the area here is going to be 100 times pi, or 314. So then I'm going to take this 314, multiply it to the other side. 314 times 80 divided by 360. 69.8. 69.8. Next one. Use the sphere for 7, 8. Pay attention. This is a diameter. So this is 12 the diameter, which means the radius is 6. So you got to use radius of 6. Find the surface area of the sphere. The formula for the surface area is 4 pi r squared. So then it's going to be 4 times pi times 6 squared. 36 times 4 is 114. So 114 pi would be your answer in this one. In this one, the volume of a sphere is going to be a different formula, 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So it's going to be 4 over 3 pi times 6 cubed, which is 216. Divide that by 3, should be 72. So 4 times 72 times pi. 1216 divided by 3, I think, is 72.
4 times 6 squared is 144.
144. Oh, I'm sorry, 144.
Oh, I just want to see the difference between these two. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I actually mean.
And then this one, 72 times 4, 288 pi. Next one. Find the volume of the following shapes. So first identify if it's a pyramid or a prism. This case is a pyramid, so I know it's going to be 1/3 base times height. The base here is a square. So I should know that's going to be 1/3 times the base, which is 8 squared, times the height, which is 12. So this is going to be 64. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 64 times 4 is 256. Next one. This is a cone, which is a circle pyramid. So 1/3 base times height. So 1/3. The base is pi r squared because it's a circle. So 1/3 times pi, 3.7 squared, times 8.9. This one I'm going to use my calculator. Oh. Whatever. So it's going to be 1 divided by 3 times 3.7 squared times 8.9, 40.61, so 40.61 pi. This one is a rectangular prism. This is pretty easy. It's going to be 10 times 3 times 7, so 210. This one's a cylinder, so it's just base times height, no 1/3. So it's going to be pi r, which is 4, squared times 9, pi 30, or not 36, 16 times 9 equals 144 pi. This one, another cone, but the trick here is that this diameter is 12. We need the radius, which is half of that, or 6. So 1/3 times pi r squared times height. So 1/3 times pi, 6 squared times 6, 36 times 2, 72 pi.
Oh, I think I got it.
Okay, is that it? Yay! All right, let me post this right away for me.